listening to Planery, the podcast, your guide to home building, renovation and design. I'm your host, Emma, an architect and business owner with over 15 years industry experience, bringing you new episodes each week to answer all of your questions and provide clarity so you feel confident to design your dream home. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, thank you so much for choosing to listen to Planery. I hope you join the Planery community so that we can help you design your dream home. Today we're going to be stepping outside quite literally to talk about one of my favorite topics in home design, and that is designing an outdoor living space. Outdoor areas are no longer just about a little bit of a barbecue and a couple of chairs. They've really become extensions of our homes, and having a beautiful outdoor living space adjacent to your living area, or if you're open plan and you have kitchen, dining, living, it can really encourage that flow from the indoor to the outdoor, and it offers a space to relax, entertain and connect with nature and your local surroundings. Whether you have a sprawling backyard or a cozy little balcony, there's so much potential to create a beautiful outdoor space that feels both functional and inviting. In this episode, we'll be exploring how to design an outdoor living space that suits your lifestyle, and we'll be covering everything from layout and furniture to materials and landscaping. Plus, I'll be sharing some tips for making your outdoor area usable all year round, because we all know how unpredictable Australian weather can be. We really do get the extremes of heat and cold here. Well, not the extreme of cold, I suppose, unless you're in an area that gets snow. But along the way, I would really love to include some examples from real projects, and I'll be giving you advice from experts that can inspire your design journey. The first step in designing any outdoor space is understanding what you're working with and how you want to use it. So start by assessing your space and writing down a couple of these items to create a plan. The first is the size and shape. And this would be great if you can grab some dimensions, because these will really influence your design choices. So if you have a tape measure, or you can just step out the space, or you even have a laser measurer. I have a great little one that I bought from Bunnings from Azito, and this is what I use for doing a lot of measure ups on site. It is so easy to use and much better than a tape measure if you are one person measuring up a space, because sometimes you need a person to hold the other end and there's no one there. So that is the best option, I think, for getting a good grasp on the size and shape of your outdoor area. So do you just have a balcony if you're in a townhouse or an apartment, or do you have a large outdoor area? Or is it a little bit more compact? Maybe you're dealing with a courtyard in a terrace house kind of space. The next one is orientation. This is incredibly important when it comes to siting not only your home, but also your backyard and how usable it will be at different times throughout the year and throughout the different seasons. So consider how much sun or shade your space will be getting throughout the day. And of course, there is the summer solstice, the winter solstice, the spring equinox, and, just trying to work best with when you're thinking you'll be using the space and what for. And this will help you decide on features like pergolas, umbrellas, shade sails, the location of a swimming pool or plunge pool, and various other things like the planting as well. Next up is the views. Do you want to highlight a beautiful view? Do you have access to the ocean or some rolling hills? Or is it just about creating privacy from your neighbours and preventing overlooking from other people into your backyard? Once you've assessed your space, I want you to have a think about how you'd like to use it. So ask yourself a couple of these questions, and as always, feel free to pause the episode and write them down, or even grab out a notepad. So the first question is, do you want a space for entertaining, like a dining area or a fire pit? Next is, are you looking for a peaceful retreat with cozy seating and greenery? And lastly, do you need a play area for the kids or a spot for gardening? I really love the idea of a kitchen garden, and I also really love plunge pools. I think they are a great alternative to a full-size pool if you don't have the space or the budget for it. And having a kitchen garden is the dream. I think being able to grow a couple of my own fresh herbs and vegetables and things is absolutely what I would love to have when I build my own home. But at the moment, I just have a small one out the back of my space. space. But here's a little example. One couple I worked with transformed their narrow urban courtyard, and this was into a multifunctional space. So we ended up adding a compact dining table, a vertical garden on the walls, and we even incorporated some bench seating with hidden storage. By understanding their needs, they made the most of their small area, and that is just a little tip of the iceberg as to how I could help you plan out your outdoor space. So feel free to head over to the Planery website and have a chat with us. We can book in a 1-hour session just to discuss your outdoor space and really come up with a great concept for it. Quickly interrupting the podcast to let you know about our upcoming in-person event. This will be held in Melbourne, and it's a Dream Home workshop on Saturday, the 22nd of March. If you're feeling overwhelmed about renovating or doing your new build home in 2025, you do not want to miss this event. I will be there to guide you through the process step by step. It is a half-day workshop with plenty of opportunity to learn, grow, and share with the rest of the community who will be there on the day. There's only 20 seats available with a couple of tickets gone already, so make sure you secure your space now. All of the details are in the show notes with a link, and it's also live on our website, which is www.planery.com.au. Next up is planning the layout. A well thought out layout is key to making your outdoor space both functional and enjoyable. So here are a couple of my top expert tips to help you plan your outdoor space. First of all, I want you to divide the space into zones. If you have a larger area, consider creating separate zones for dining, lounging, and outdoor activities. Use furniture, rugs, or landscaping to visually define these areas. Next is to create a sense of flow. Just like indoors, outdoor spaces should also have a logical sequence and flow, so ensure there is enough room to move comfortably between these different zones. Next, think about the proportions, so you want to scale your furniture and features to fit into your space. For example, an overly large dining table might overpower a small patio, whilst compact seating could feel lost in a big backyard. Lastly, incorporate pathways. If you have a garden or multiple zones, pathways or stepping stones can help guide the eye and create a sense of structure and flow throughout the space. You can use materials like pavers, gravel, or stepping stones to add texture and visual interest. Consider layering levels as well, such as a raised deck or a sunken lounge area. This can create visual interest and makes the space feel more dynamic. The materials and furniture you choose for your outdoor space can also greatly impact its durability, style, and comfort. So here are a couple of my considerations when designing these spaces. First of all, we'll start off with furniture. Opt for weather-resistant materials. This can be things like teak, aluminium, or synthetic wicker. You also want to choose cushions with outdoor-grade fabrics that can not only withstand sun, so they don't get bleached in terms of their colours, but they are also resistant to rain and mold. Also look for modular or foldable furniture if you need flexibility or have limited storage, or look into things like the storage bench that I mentioned in my client example earlier, because that way you could even put pillows away when you're not using them or if there is some inclement weather. Next up is flooring. Timber decking can really add some warmth, but it does require regular maintenance. This might mean restaining, re-oiling, and if you've got heavy furniture, you're going to have to move it all off while you're doing this. So just have a little bit of a think about that and maybe look into some of the sustainable, more durable modular timber, or mod timber, I think it's called. There is Modwood, I think is one of the brands, and that has much more longevity than typical timber decking. Another one is pavers or tiles. This is probably my favorite for backyards, and this is not only durable but incredibly easy to clean. You might put your pavers on sand bed, or it may be on a paving slab. It really depends on the design of your backyard. Lastly, there is gravel or crushed stone. This can be a really cost-effective option for pathways or some casual seating areas as well. Next up, I want to talk about shade and shelter. These are some really beautiful ways to add a little bit of structure to your backyard space, and don't hesitate to involve a landscape architect or a landscape designer when you're doing this process as well. I often work hand in hand with these professionals, and they can help design some of these things like pergolas, gazebos, or retractable awnings. and give some advice around providing shade and shelter to make the space more usable all year round. You might even want to look into outdoor heating and things as well, because again, if you were in a colder climate like Melbourne, where we have a little bit more cold weather throughout the year, but you still want to be able to use your outdoor dining space, then that could be a suitable solution as well. And of course, for a natural touch, consider planting some trees, even fruiting trees, or installing some trellises with climbing plants. For example, a family in Brisbane that I worked with installed a retractable awning over their outdoor dining area, and that really helped to block out that harsh midday sun. And paired with some lightweight aluminium furniture, their space became a comfortable retreat even on the hottest days. Before we continue, I want to remind you to visit our website at www.planery.com.au. There you'll find more tips, masterclasses, free ebooks and resources, and plenty of home inspiration to help you design the outdoor space of your dreams. And don't forget to subscribe to our weekly newsletter for exclusive content, VIP access to our events, and updates as well to what we're doing throughout the year. Now let's get straight back into transforming your outdoor area. Landscaping plays a huge role in defining the look and feel of your outdoor space. So even if you're not a gardening enthusiast, incorporating a little bit of greenery can really make your area feel more inviting. And here's a couple of ways that you can do that. One is low maintenance plants. Choosing native Australian plants like kangaroo paw, bottlebrush, or grevillea for a garden. This will ensure that it thrives with minimal attention and care. You could also look into timed sprinklers and things as well if you wanted to have an irrigation system that can just do the watering for you. Another one is vertical gardens. These are perfect for small spaces. Vertical gardens add greenery without taking up valuable floor space, and I am actually working on a stunning courtyard for a terrace home in Albert Park here in Melbourne, and we're actually looking into doing a vertical garden on one of the walls in there as well. Another one is potted plants. You can use pots of varying sizes and materials, and this can add a lot of flexibility and visual interest because you're able to move them around and you can kind of choose sizes that are adequate for your space. You could also stack a bunch of different size pots together, and even places like Bunnings have an excellent selection of beautiful pots for your plants. Another one is an edible garden. So if you love cooking, consider growing some herbs, vegetables, or fruit trees in your outdoor space. It's not only functional, but it's also a really rewarding way to use your garden. Lighting is another critical element. Installing solar-powered path lights and string lights or lanterns to create a warm and inviting atmosphere can be a really beautiful touch. One Melbourne homeowner who I worked with used some solar uplights to highlight their garden beds, and it really gave the space a magical glow at night. One challenge with outdoor spaces is making them usable all year round. So I just wanted to add in a couple of additional ideas to ensure that your area can stay comfortable no matter the season or the weather. First things first is heating. If you are in a little bit of a colder climate or you just feel the cold, you might want to consider installing some outdoor heaters. This could also be something like a fire pit or a chimenea for the colder months, and maybe even something really fun to use like a pizza oven that can just give off some ambient heat as well. Another option is cooling for some hot places. My parents actually live up on the Gold Coast, and in their outdoor area, they have some fans, they have water misters, and they even have a shade sail in a little bit of the garden area to keep it comfortable during the hot summer weather. Another one is all-weather furniture covers. This will protect your furniture from the elements to extend its lifespan, and who doesn't want to do that if you've spent a lot of money on these pieces? You do not want to have to be replacing them every couple of years, so invest in some good all-weather furniture covers and you will thank yourself later. Another one is retractable screens and curtains. My parents also have this on their house, and this not only blocks wind and rain, it can also block out a little bit of the sun, and it does add additional privacy as well. Consider adding a covered pergola or an enclosed patio with some bifold doors if you want to transition seamlessly between the indoor and outdoor living. It is a little bit of an investment, but it can significantly enhance your home's value and the functionality of this space. Let's recap the key points from today's episode. Start by understanding your space and redefining how you want to use it. Plan a layout that includes distinct zones and ensures good spatial flow. Choose durable, weather-resistant materials and furniture. Incorporate greenery and lighting to add some life and ambience. Plan for year-round use with heating, cooling, and shelter options. And that is it for the key takeaways from this episode. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Planery. I hope you're feeling inspired to create a beautiful outdoor living space that you'll love spending time in all year round. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you're following us or subscribed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast. And why not share it with someone who's dreaming of creating their perfect outdoor area in their home renovation or new home build. Next time, we'll be talking about the latest trends in home automation and how to incorporate some smart technology into your home. You won't want to miss it, so make sure you have your notifications on as well. Until then, take care and happy planning.